will now come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, Honorable City Council members, Mayor, City Treasurer, Deputy Clerk, our City Attorney, administrative staff, and those viewing in our broadcast channel and YouTube Live. Welcome to the City of Romulus City Council regular meeting, and today's date is May 8th, 2023. Members of the public wishing to participate in this meeting may do so under the public comment portion of the agenda. Please fill out a request to speak public comment card, which is located on the back of the table, and hand it to the deputy clerk. Sorry about that. And at this time, we will have roll call. Councilwoman Abdo. Here. Councilman Barton.
Here.
Councilwoman Roscoe is excused.
Excuse.
Councilwoman Talley.
Here.
Councilman Wadsworth.
Here.
And we know that Councilwoman Webb is excused. And Councilwoman Williams.
Here.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
At this time, our regular meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda. Number 2, minutes. 3, petitioner. 4, chairperson's report. 5, mayor's report. 6, clerk's report. 7, treasurer's report. 8, public comment. 9, unfinished business. 10, new business. 11, warrant. 12, communication. And number 13, adjournment. And a motion would be in order to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
So moved to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Abdo, for approval of the agenda as presented. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe? Excuse. Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and motion is approved.
Thank you. Number 2, minutes. Agenda item 2A, for approval of the minutes from the regular meeting held on Monday, May 1st, 2023 at 7:30 p.m.
Mr. Chairman, I will move for the approval of the council meetings that was held on Monday, May the 1st, at 7:30.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo, for approval of our minutes from our regular council meeting. It was held on May 1st at 7:30. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
I have a quick question under the minutes.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Talley.
Okay. I just had a couple of residents call me about an item that we approved last week for adopt a resolution renaming the top park. I was asked if that was under our authority as a council to rename a park.
Ms.
Okay.
Clerk?
I just had a couple residents call me about it.
Attorney?
Yeah, it's council has authority to name
Rename
parks
a park.
and buildings.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Go ahead.
Just for the future, I know a lot of residents don't understand the process, but council is a legislative body, so they would be the one to do it.
Nope, if that's fine, I need to be clear because I didn't know, you know. So, no, I'm good with it as long as we're in line and decent and in order. And
Okay.
you're saying we are?
Yes.
Okay, great.
And yes,
Okay, thanks a lot, Ms. Talley. Ms. Talley?
yes.
Chair abstain, motion approved.
Agenda item 2B, for approval of the minutes from the special meetings held on Monday, May 1st, 2023 at 6 o'clock. There was a closed session meeting to discuss an attorney's opinion, and at 6:30, there was a public hearing to discuss the 2023-2024 fiscal year preliminary budget of the City of Romulus as set forth in Chapter 9, Section 9.3 of the Romulus City Charter. Motion would be in order.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Wadsworth?
I will move that we approve the special meetings that were held on Monday, May 1st at 6 and 6:30.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Talley, and for approval of the minutes from a special meeting held on Monday, May 1st at 6 p.m. to discuss attorney opinion and 6:30 to discuss the 2023-24 fiscal year preliminary budget of the city of Romulus as set forth in Chapter 9, Section 9.3 of the Romulus City Code Charter. Is there any comments? Roll call vote. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair abstain, motion approved.
Thank you. There are no petitioners on the agenda. Number 4 is the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First of all, thank everyone for all the calls and texts from my colleagues and the audience and listening and the residents in my absence. I had emergency, everything is okay. I appreciate all the calls and just blessed by our Lord that everything worked out. I just want to say thanks to everyone. Thank you. As you know, tonight, we didn't have any special meeting. So at this time, first I'm going to recognize our Commissioner, Honorable Al Hattis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mayor, Honorable Council. Give me great honor to be here today to present certificate in behalf of the chairwoman of the commission, Alicia Bell, and myself to Tina Talley on job well done on the Women Commission. If you join me here, please.
Thank you.
Present you. For demonstrate excellent leadership with the Women Commission and the chairwoman Alicia Bell and myself. We appreciate your volunteerism to that, and the county and the city of Romulus have a great relationship, and good to see that represented on that commission, very important commission. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Go, Ms. Talley.
On the other hand, you know, it's given me great honor to work with the city of Romulus, and especially with you, Mr. Mayor, and Kevin, and too many issues facing the city. And I'm honored to have such a great team to work with me. You make my job easy by your simplicity and how you approach things with the county, and we appreciate that, and we hope some of the things you and us working on would come to reality very soon. So I see the city of Romulus, it's hot spot for economic development in the state of Michigan because of too many factors. We have the 2 airports in the middle, and we have the I-94, 275, and we have available land. And the people in the city of Romulus very supportive of economic development, and the future looking very good. I'm honored to work with all of you, City Council and the Mayor, and I'm available if there are any question. I'll be glad to answer them. If I don't have the answer, I'll make sure I'll get it.
Thank you, and we appreciate all the work that you do you know, with the City of Romulus and through Wayne County, so it's been a pleasure working with you. I appreciate it. We've seen the crews out on Eureka Road getting some more work done for us, so thank you for that. And also, as we all know, we started that the E-course in Wayne Road intersection too. So cooperative efforts with the county to improve our roads because we are the gateway to Michigan, right? So we're very thankful for the work that the county is doing with us as well.
Yeah, it's, I see it as a beginning of growth and economic development in the city of Romulus, and it showed there are too many investors knocking on the door. And we hope to have the infrastructure meet their need, and we're working on it with you and Kevin. Really, I enjoy work with your team too. So if any question from the audience, we'll be glad to answer. And otherwise, thank you, Mr. Chair, for giving me the time.
You're welcome. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
At this time, the chair is going to recognize Councilwoman Tina Talley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for this time. I got a couple of quick things I would like to do on your report. The first one is a resolution for First Baptist Church Romulus, who celebrated their 96th church anniversary yesterday with an amazing church service. So I should have did this last week, but I'm doing it today. So I would like to make a motion. I would hope to get support on their 96th church anniversary.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for a resolution. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. That motion is approved.
Thank you. And then the second thing, the city's birthday was yesterday, May 7th, technically born 1970. So they celebrated their birthday yesterday. So as a result of that, we did the Why I Love the City of Romulus contest, which ended last week, and the winner is being announced today. So I would like to read the submission of the winner, which is actually a poem about the city of Romulus. And it is titled, We Are One. 4 parts should equal one whole. Over 20,000 humans who call this place home. It's enriched in history since 1826. By 1835, early settlers says, yes, this is it. There were Sam, Solomon, Chuck, and Joe. Yet it was Poland's cornered market giving 5 points, as we know. Swapping townships' names from Romulus to Wayne, back then we had superior transportation that evolved to buses, cars, and trains. Things were moving around this township swift. The name was changed back, embracing the name Romulus as a beloved gift. Becoming a city in 1970, today we are still striving to be all we can be. A gateway to the world is the rest of America can attest. With action put behind our vision, we will soon be bustling with movement, touristy, and picturesque. One's chosen political affiliation, race, religion, gender doesn't matter. Living here in unity does, with peace, joy, and laughter. Beautiful homes, no matter inherited, owned, rented, or leased, we need the world to know Romulus is the place to be. One Romulus, one city, one mission, one goal, with retail, transportation, and tech attracting young and old. I don't care if you like coffee or tea, but if you prefer weeds over flowers, Romulus is not the place you should be. We can all lead, just not at the same time. Find your niche, passion, and calling to do your part in helping make the city revive. If we all can get out of our feelings, stop complaining, and get involved, because it will take all of us in large numbers to get this thing resolved. The highest praise to our mayor, city leaders, workers, especially our dedicated and valued city council, the Fabulous Seven. They all do an outstanding job making sure the resident voices are heard at its loudest, just above reaching heaven. Wendy M. Harmon. Can you come forward, Wendy? Thank you for this submission. Thank you, Mr. Barton.
Oh, you're welcome, Ms. Talley. Madam Clerk, that concludes the chairperson's report.
I'd like to make that motion to accept the chairperson's report.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Abdo, for approval of the chairperson's report. Ms. Talley,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Ms. Webb,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. Thank you.
Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Thank you. Good evening, City Council, Madam Treasurer, Madam Clerk, Deputy Clerk, listening audience at home, and also here in the chambers today. Before I get into the action items on my report tonight, I'd draw your attention to the monitors for an informational video from the Mayor's Office of Vanessa Tolliver.
Happening in Romulus. Free dumping days will take place at the South Lot at the Romulus DPW on Thursday, May the 11th through Saturday, May the 13th. No commercial waste will be accepted. Non-hazardous materials only. No lawn mowers, hazardous waste, batteries, flammable liquids, poisons, dirt, antifreeze, cleaning solids, pesticides, sod, paint, oil, concrete, or stumps. Bulky items are limited to 3 per household. Please contact 734-942-7579 for questions. Proof of residency is required. Community Shred Day will take place on Saturday, May the 13th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Romulus City Hall complex. This is a drive-through event. You will drive up and the electrocycle employees will remove the boxes, dump the documents, and return the boxes to your vehicle. Limited 2 boxes per vehicle. Boxes should be no larger than 15 inches by 12 inches. Mayor McCray will present his 2023 State of the City address on Wednesday, May 24th at the Romulus High School auditorium. Check-in will begin at 4 p.m. and the program will begin at 5 p.m. The State of the City is free to attend this year and is open to all who wish to attend. However, we do ask that you RSVP with the Mayor's office by May 15th. Light refreshments will be served following the event. Thanks everyone, and remember to like and share us on Facebook and YouTube or visit the website for more information. Have a great night.
Thank you, Vanessa. A couple things I want to report on too before the action items. We had a great day today at Romulus High School. I had our second annual career day where we take our different labor and trades unions, from our iron workers to our pipe fitters to our masons to our regional carpenters and millwrights, and we do a meeting there for the kids to come in and talk to representatives from each of these unions to find some things that might fit when they're be out of school here in a few more weeks. So we want to make sure they know what avenues might be available for good careers. So we introduce them to the labor and trades to see if we can start some relationships there and get some light bulbs to go off. We also had our police and fire department there in our DPW to show the kids that there's jobs out there waiting for them after school. So another great, well-attended meeting again today. This is our second time we did it. The kids were very engaged and got a lot of information from our labor and trades. So You know, I let them know too that we had some people speak to them about their past, and my past came from labor and trades as a sheet metal worker and a heating and cooling technician, so definitely good options out there for the kids. We want to make sure we share that information with them. So it was a great event today. And also, for those who are unaware, there's a show the show's called Under the Radar of Michigan. It shows and it highlights different small places throughout the state of Michigan. It's on public broadcasting. It's on PBS. But they choose a small, different locations to do in the state, and they tell you what's going on there. And Kevin Kraus was fortunate enough to work with the Destination Downriver, pitch a couple of small businesses like that in Romulus, and they hit on the Upscale Warehouse on Wayne Road. So if you haven't been down there yet, go check them out. They got great live entertainment. They're doing an awesome job there. They rehabbed an old building that's, now it's a gem down there. It's a great atmosphere. And live entertainment, R&B, jazz music, whatever you want, they have for you. Go check them out on Friday and Saturday night. They also do a great Sunday brunch. So go support them. But on May 28th, and we'll broadcast the information. It'll be on the episode of Under the Radar, and it'll give them a little bit more attention and spread the word and let people know outside of Romulus what we have here. So hopefully that'll work out, and it's all about networking. Okay, action items I have tonight for City Council. The first is a resolution for the pension grant program. I would ask that council concur with the administration and authorize the mayor and the clerk to enter into the attached resolution for the city of Romulus to comply with the application requirements in protecting Michigan pension grant program.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth.
I will move for a resolution regarding the protecting of the Michigan pension grant program.
Support, and I have a question.
I have a question too.
Okay. It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Talley, for a resolution regarding the Protection Michigan Pension Grant Program. Discussion first of Mr. Wadsworth and then Ms. Talley.
If I could, to the mayor or maybe the finance department, I mean, obviously, I'm in favor of protecting pensions, and I did read this, but I'm not quite exactly what are you trying to do here? I mean, protect the pensions, but
Yeah, it's a grant program that they have out there that will help, balance our unfunded liabilities through
There's
pensions.
funds available
Yeah,
for
Maria
us?
speak on it, possibly.
Good evening. So Treasury has brought out a program, it's called the Protecting Pensions. And what they are doing is they are going to any municipality that is underfunded by, under 60%, they're going to give this funding to bring them up to a 60% level.
oh, sounds good, okay, fine.
And Treasury is monitoring this program and going through the steps. The first step is the resolution, so we can enter into starting the process for the grant.
This wouldn't involve the retirees too, would it? Healthcare, or that's a different?
No, this is just
This
for
is just the
pensions.
pensions going on now, okay.
Correct.
Fine, thank you, John.
You're welcome. Ms. Talley?
Yeah, just on them same lines. So, how much could we possibly get for that?
So Treasury is giving $750 million to all of the communities that are, that are eligible. So once you
That's a group?
Yes.
Okay.
So there are other, I don't know, I can't speak on every community that's going to submit this pension grant, the application. However, they're going to take whoever submits it, take the amount of money that they have, and then they will spread it amongst those communities.
What's our current liability?
It's 45.1%.
How much?
45.1% were funded.
How much?
45%, like 45.1%.
What's that in dollars? How much is our liability?
For pensions, I think it's almost 60 million.
60?
Yes.
60 million?
So what they're doing is they're measuring it on the percentage of how much are funded.
Okay.
So our current liability, we are funded at 45.
45.
Once we enter into this grant agreement, they could potentially bring us up to 60% funded.
Funding, okay, so they get us to the 60%
60%,
level?
yes.
Got it. And then, what's the time frame? I mean, I know you don't got no exact, but do they give you a ballpark, or like, when is the submission of the application, the whole time frame? What's
So-
that process?
So we start with the resolution first. Then
Okay.
after that, we have to fill out some forms. The mayor will
Right.
have to sign. We'll submit it to Treasury. All the forms need to be in, I think it's by June 15th.
June
They will
15th?
start dispersing the funds end of August. Those are.
That soon?
Correct.
Okay. No, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Any other questions from council? Ms. Webb?
Yes,
Yeah,
through the
Yeah,
chair,
Ms. Williams.
I have some questions. I was trying to reach the administration today in regards to this. I called MERS because this is the first I've heard of this, and I know it's all new. We were not informed. And also, they want to raise it to a 60%, raise it up to 60% instead of 45. And also, there's a lot going on. For me to vote on a resolution with no attachment, I know nothing about this. MERS knew nothing about it. It's foreign to me. And we can't help what happened in the past, but at least I think that the 7 legislative body should have known this before it came to us. Because when I try to ask questions and I don't get any answers, or either I get the answers that I wouldn't accept, because I can't vote on a resolution with no type of attachment. I don't know what it's doing. Even MERS doesn't know anything about this. So I tried to, I did contact one person, but I need to know what's going on. This is one of the first times I've ever heard of this. And then, well, I don't even want to go into it. If I can get an audience from the administration and they can explain this to me, then I'll vote for it. Other than that, because I see our illustrious firemen are also going to be, they're in MERS. And I respect and honor our firemen. They're the greatest. But I also respect and honor our police department. The fire department's only been in existence, since 2001? But the police department has always been back, and we need to change that. If we want to move forward, we need to leave the past in the past and help to build up that police department, and then nobody would hear my mouth. But as long as I'm breathing, I'm going to stand up for the police, I'm going to stand up for the firemen, but it's going to be fair. And that's all I have to say.
Mayor, you want to go first? Go ahead.
In applying for this grant, I think it's a shame of where America have got to where our police and fire, newly hired, don't receive a pension. For someone to go out and risk their lives every day and to come into any city, and I'm speaking of ours at this time, and not get a pension or earn pension, we need to look into that moving forward. Even maybe some of this money can, maybe help. And also, I'm really bothered that we keep putting, and I know this had nothing to do with this document, but it's about the police department. We keep putting money into that building. We need to look into getting the police into a better building. We really do. And any funds, thank God the treasurer is being so courteous to even offer this to cities that are underfunded. But we need to make sure if we are granted the money, that we need to make sure it goes in the right direction and not still stay underfunded after this. Because what's the requirements? How long do you have to stay at that 60 or above?
So Treasury, what their purpose is to bring any community that's underfunded, which is under 60%, to bring them up to 60%. With that, there are requirements that Treasury does monitor compliance. So there will be forms and reports that I will have to submit each year, making sure we're following the perimeters of what their requirements are. The funding will go right directly into the pension. That's the only allowable use for it.
Like I said, I would like for us to, moving forward, to look into when we bring in new hires, whether it's fire or police offer them a pension instead of what a lot of companies are doing, because for a police officer and a fireman to risk their lives every day and let money be in the way to not offer them a pension, it's not a good thing. Thank you.
Yes, the mayor and then Mr. Wadsworth. You want to go, Mayor? Then Mr. Wadsworth.
Yeah, and just to be clear, to clear up any confusion, both of our police and our fire, they both have a great pension and through the MERS program that they've had for years. Most communities are unfunded at some point. It's very rare for a community, for any community to be fully funded. That's why they're offering this $750 million grant monies that are out there, and that'll take us from 45% unfunded to 60% funded. So that'll put us above the curve, and that's what the intent behind these grant monies. So it'll help ensure that our firefighters and police officers and our MERS will have a pension, and it'll be better funded. So it's just that, you know, we have a program, and they have a good program, and we are doing well. I think we're in the higher percentages as far as the amount of even being on 45%. So this will just help us make it even more secure for our police and fires, police and firefighters, first responders. So I hope that clears it up.
Mr. Wadsworth?
I just think it's a win-win situation for everybody involved in it,
And through the chair.
If we get it.
if we get it, obviously.
Right.
Ms. Weaver and then Ms. Talley.
Mayor, I want to be clear on this. So even the new hires is in MERS? They're allowed to be in MERS, fire and police?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
do we- New hires, so they're
Yes.
still in MERS?
Yes.
Okay.
So they're allowed to?
Yep.
Because I was under the impression that they're not, they're in a different plan. So all the new hires for police and fire is allowed to go into MERS?
Correct.
So when did that happen?
It's always been that.
Firefighters have always had MERS.
I understand, I'm saying new hires.
Then they've always had that, but what they did was they changed the level of it. The level that the multiplier that PD was at for a long time
Okay.
was very high, and in PD, we worked with PD, the city did, to make the right size that and make it more sustainable, you know, because it doesn't do anybody good to have a pension if that pension fund runs out before any,
Right.
you know, while they're using it. So the city of Romulus worked with the police officers union, right-sized that, and any new hires still have the MERS program.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I knew it was some changes done, but I just wanted to make sure that, you know, we not sitting up here and ignoring the fact and not covering our officers on both sides, police and fire. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Talley, and then, did you
Yeah,
have-
and I just want to be clear, so I look like in our package, it looks like the administration spoke with the presidents of the Romulus Police and Fire Unions. Looks like John Fee, who's the president of IAFF, Eric Harris, who's the president of POLC, and Keith Haynes, who's president of POAM. Y'all have had these discussions with them, they seem to be on board with everything. Okay, I just want to be clear. Thank you.
Ms. Page, did you have anything to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to address this with Maria. So right now, our liability is 55%. If we apply and we are awarded, let's say, all the money up to the 60%, then we're only at a 40% liability, which is a win-win for us.
Yeah, so we're actually at 45.1%.
Yep.
Okay. And then, yes, if the funding, so they'll take it and they'll spread on the eligible communities that are, and our hope is to get up to that 60% before the money runs out, yes.
I mean, we'll take any, but
Ex-
60 would be beautiful.
100%. I have personally spoke to our MERS representative too, to kind of give us some guidelines. Treasury is the one who's actually setting out the rules for this, so.
Just out of curiosity, and I'm sure you probably don't have the answer, but I'd love to know where you dig up $750 million. Me too. That's what I'd love to know. I guess.
Yeah, you would have to email all your information to Treasury. There's not an actual number we can call. So I have attended a few of the webinars on behalf of this. Treasury has put these out to help and give us support, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mayor?
I'm sorry, one more comment, and thank you for bringing that up. You know, one of the things this administration is going to key in is clear communication and transparency. Anytime we're going to talk about health care benefits or any pension benefits to any of our employees, we're going to make sure we're clearly communicating. So when we got news of this grant opportunity that was out there, it's a great thing for our first responders, but we brought in those union leaders to make sure that they were aware, on board, avoid any confusion.
Right.
That they were modifying their pensions at all, because, you know, like I said, we're going to be transparent and clear communication with all of our unions.
Right.
Thank you, Mayor. Are there any other more, Ms. Webb?
I would like to say, and I'd like an audience with our mayor as soon as possible, for discussing some things, but this here, to do a resolution and not have any type of attachment to this is, just don't know what's going on. Yes, it sounds good. It's great if we could get that. But we also want to share this. Everyone knows how I feel, and I keep repeating myself until I can't do it anymore. I want the police and the fire to be on equal terms in everything. They
Agreed.
shouldn't be riding around in raggedy vehicles. They should have everything that they need. Our firemen are top-notch, okay? They are top-notch. And I care about my firemen. I respect my firemen, my police officers. I'll do anything for them. But I want them treated fairly, and they have not been treated fairly. And I don't like bringing this out in the open, but everyone they just swipe it, across. Director, but to vote on a resolution that has there's nothing here except what you're saying that we can get, the city can get. We need to know something other than what's just put in front of us to vote on. And I've always said that. Yes, I want everything that we can get for our safety, but I want it fairly. Police is still waiting on vehicles. They still waiting on everything that there is. And they sit there and they do not have it. And can't nobody get up and tell me that they do have it. And this is way before. The police department has always been, and they've been here since, 1982? And they're still like back in 1982 with their vehicles, with their weapons, with everything. And they are the ones who are protecting our illustrious fire department. When they go out on a call, who's right there having the fireman's back? So let's bring them together and be fair with everything. That's how it should be. Instead of, if one group can get it, then, we go for it. But if they can't, then, we don't go for it. It's just unfair, and I'm not one to sit here and bring all this out in the open, but sometimes people don't seem to hear. And I want this money for for safety as well, but I want it fairly. I don't, it is, as far as I'm concerned, it's a mess with our safety all around, and we need to correct that. We definitely need correcting. We don't have enough police officers. We don't have enough vehicles. We don't have enough of anything for that area. And they're the ones who's saving lives 24 hours a day. Our firemen are saving lives, but the police are standing and having the firemen's backs while they in there putting out a fire to save other people. And it's unfair. I know that this administration didn't divide all of this, okay? But we need to come together and make sure that both groups have the things that they need. And that's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking is a sit down with the gentleman whom I supported. That's all.
Absolutely.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Set it down.
John.
Ms. Williams?
Maria, this is like the application that we have here. So this is the application, and we are applying for the grant.
It's not an
I don't have a copy of your
It
packet.
says application.
Okay.
So this is what we
okay.
have to vote on in order to send the,
Yes.
Correct. So in order to proceed with the grant, we have to have a resolution, and if that's, that will give the perimeters of the grant, if that's the application, yes.
okay. I just wanted to make sure because
Yeah, I
this,
can't.
even though it says draft, this is the document that you presented to council, and it says everything that you explained.
Okay, yes.
In order for you to apply.
Correct.
Yep.
Got it.
And if we are awarded any funds, we'll make sure we communicate with council what we received and where it's going as soon as we get that information.
Okay? Any other discussion?
Excuse me, this is not an application. This is a resolution from the city.
A resolution for them to be able to apply is what I was saying. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider it an application to apply. It's a
Well, it
resolution.
clearly says application on the document. I'm not trying to.
Y'all come through the chair when you're discussing stuff, please. Appreciate it.
This is, through the chair, this is the resolution that council needs to pass in order for the city to apply for these grant opportunities.
Okay? All right. Roll call vote. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
No.
Chair votes yes, the motion approved.
Thank you. The next item I have is General and Special Appropriations Act and Tax Levy Authorization. Short form, that is our municipal budget for the next fiscal year. So I'd ask the council to concur with the administration and adopt the General and Special Appropriations Act and Tax Levy Authorization for the city of Romulus and the 34th District Court fiscal year 2023 to 2024 as submitted by Mayor McCray.
Through the chair,
Ms. Talley?
I'd like to make that motion to concur with administration and adopt the General and Special Appropriations Act and Tax Levy Authorization for the City of Romulus and 34th District Court fiscal year 2023 to 2024 as submitted by Mayor McCray.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Mr. Wadsworth for General and Special Appropriations Act and Tax Levy Authorization. Any discussion?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
I was under the impression that we were going to get a copy of the complete budget before we voted on it, not just totals like we have here. That was what we were told. And we told we didn't get the preliminary in that shape because it was too expensive to run it off, but we would have a complete budget for us to look at.
That was submitted. Maria, could you come to the microphone and speak on that?
So the Appropriations Act is,
They should've gotten that
this is a copy of all of the expenditures and the appropriations in the budget. Once you make, if you vote on it, then we'll be able to say, we'll move from the preliminary to the adopted budget. And then if you would like a copy, we can get you a copy. The appropriations on here are fund by fund level that was presented on the preliminary budget April 3rd and April 10th.
I realize that, but it seems counterproductive to get a copy of the complete budget afterwards. We've always gotten one before where we could go through it. These are just totals in different, I'm just not comfortable with this.
Through the
I'm
chair.
sorry.
Go ahead, Ms. Talley.
Just as a heads up, we got the draft of the budget, and I went through the numbers that's in here, and all the numbers matched. Everything that was, I didn't see little changes. Even when we had the study session last week, I saw little change from the draft you submitted to the numbers I'm looking at in this packet. I just want that noted for the record. There was little change. It was exactly the way the draft had it. So I'm very comfortable. Thank you.
Ms. Williams?
And through that was also sent electronically to the council members, right?
Correct. That was at the last meeting, yes. That
Ms. Williams?
electronic version, yes.
Go ahead.
So in improving this tonight, that's including approving the core budget, like all together?
Well, there are two, so we have the General Appropriations Act for the city, and it goes to every single line item of every budget, and then it ends with the tax levy. And then there's a resolution for the General Appropriations Act for the $3.8 million for the operating expenditures for the court.
For the court. But the courts is also included in here. right?
No. So this one, I'm sorry. The city ends with the levy, tax levy. So then it's like section 40. That's the end of the cities.
John?
So that's separate? We're voting on that separate, or is this just one complete document?
This is one complete document, but it's, as it's presented, this is the cities, and then this is the courts.
As presented, it was one resolution, including both budgets.
Right, but several years, it's been requested that we separate the city from the court, and it's like, it's being ignored. It's like we just gonna present it and hope we get 4 votes. It should be separate. The courts should be separate.
So in our final budget book, the General Appropriations Act will be in there. And
You're
that will-
saying final, I'm saying now. You're asking us to vote on something now, and it's one document. So I'm just asking, because every year we're asking for it to be separate, and it's like it's falling on deaf ears.
I understand.
Do you have any idea why?
Never asked for it to be separate. We did it last year to appease them.
Last year we did it.
Yeah, to my knowledge, there's been discussion on that, but no formal resolution, directing that. According to legal counsel, we can separate those two in next fiscal year, but there has to be a formal resolution from council, directing us to do that.
But it should be this year. All I'm saying is it's been year after year after year that we asked for it to be separate. And then again, this year, it's like one document. And so if we approve this tonight, it's like we're doing it all in one. This is what I'm saying. I don't know. I mean, what's the purpose of being a part of the legislative body? We ask for something and we're ignored. I mean, I understand the numbers may have not changed, but the court is separate from the city, even though it's the city building. And so the judges shouldn't be so arrogant to where when the council asks for something, regardless of whether it's 1 or 2 members of council, it don't matter, that they just refuse to do it. You can't go in front of a judge and refuse to give any information to them. I'm not comfortable with this at all, because it's the same thing every year. That's all I have to say.
Ms. Abdo, you have anything?
I'm just saying that last year we voted and separated it, and we asked for it that way. I don't understand why they've combined it in one.
Ms. Page, did you have anything to say?
No, I was just trying to clarify, but she
Okay.
said it.
Any other discussion?
It's all under, or the
Any
mayor
other
mentioned
discussion
it.
from council? No other discussion, we're going to do a roll call vote. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
No?
Ms. Abdo?
No.
Chair votes yes, the motion is approved.
Since we have had this discussion before, and I would ask if council wants you to pass an official resolution tonight, and that way next year when we prepare the budget, we can separate the two. That way it goes beyond conversation, but that would be up to city council to do that.
Well, I'd like to make that motion.
John?
Just a minute.
Before, can we legal, I mean, we've done it in the past, but can we do
Yeah,
it
you
by
can legally
resolution?
do it. I mean, you're obligated to pass
To pass a
a
budget.
budget for the court,
Right.
but you could pass it in 2 separate resolutions if you want to. One for everything but the court and one for the court.
Okay.
John, I'd like to make a motion that next year and years after that we have 2 separate resolutions to support, one for the city budget and one for the court budget.
Okay. Any support on that?
Support.
Support by Ms. Williams. It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Williams, for a resolution to have separate voting on the court and city budget. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Webb,
I'm sorry, to the chair, I didn't understand what you said we were voting on.
That next year we have a resolution where we separate the court budget and the city budget.
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth,
Yes.
Ms. Tally.
No.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, and we'll make sure we present as such next year. There's another item I have, and I apologize for not having information for you, but I asked the council pass a resolution tonight. We were at a meeting last week held by several of our legislators and in Van Buren in regards to the dump issue and also the toxic well in Romulus, or the deep injection well rather. And I was made aware of three different House bills, House Bills 4526, 4527, and 4528. And those are loosely about sand and gravel mining in order to speed up road construction. But as part of that legislation they have in there, well, it takes the local authority or the authority from the local municipality where that operation would occur. So I drafted a letter today in opposition of these three different House bills, and I would ask the council pass a resolution. Like I said, I'm not opposed to the operation itself. I'm opposed to losing our local authority, and a perfect example of losing our local authority would be our deep injection well, because once they're in there and Eagle runs it, then we don't have say-so or jurisdiction over it. So again, I would ask the council to pass a resolution in opposition to House Bills 4526, 4527, and 4528, and I can forward that on to our legislators. I mean, this language is also supported by SEMCOG to Southeastern Michigan Council of Governments. They are also working to contact their representatives today also in opposition to this legislation because they are opposed to losing local authority over developments.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Wadsworth.
I will move that we pass a resolution that we are opposed to, it's House Bill 4526, 4527, and 4528.
Support.
Been motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Tally, proposed 45, 46, and 48. Any discussion on that?
Yes.
William?
I would just like to say this is pertaining to shouldn't the federal government, because I know locally it's nothing we can do if EPA already gave this company, the well company, the approval. Am I correct?
Well, that's the legislation that's being proposed right now as it submits, and if it's approved, it would usurp our authority over anybody proposing the sand and gravel mining in this community. So we wouldn't have any authority about our zoning ordinances, our setback requirements, hours of operation, any of those things.
But what I'm saying is the EPA, even with what happened with Flint, what the federal representatives need to do, and maybe the attorney can look into this, what they need to do is adopt something to take so much authority from the EPA. The EPA is an entity all on their own. They answer to no one. That makes no sense when it comes to our water, when it comes to our air, that one organization, one group of folks can make the decision, and no state rep, no commissioner, nobody can overrule them. So maybe the city attorney can look into it to bring it to our Congress folks, because they're on that level. I'm sure the state can't do anything, city, county can't do anything. So we need to go to the federal government and have them look into changing that, putting somebody to oversee that, because what happened to Flint shouldn't happen in no other city in Michigan. And it's just not about the water, it can be the air, the dirt, we using dirt, they go pull dirt up and sell it to these different and bag it up, and we don't know what we get. So I think that is very important that someone approach our Congress folks to look into maybe putting stiffer guidelines or having someone to oversee the EPA. No one is talking about it, the EPA say, I can do what I want to do, but somebody needs to stop it.
Well, a lot of times what they do is they'll run bills like this through before anybody realizes what they are, and thankfully we had people being vigilant and watching this, and they let us know what was going on, and they asked how we felt about it. So definitely in opposition to that. Anytime you're giving up local authority, I'm going to be opposed to that, so especially when it comes to what's going on in our community.
I mean, and I agree with the resolution, but at the same time, we need to go a step further and put the heat on those Congress folks, because they have more power than the local folks do. So they need to look into, maybe trying to get someone to be over where the EPA has to answer. No small group such as that should have the final say when it comes to what we drink and what we breathe. So maybe the city attorney can look into that. I mean, because everybody else is saying there's nothing they can do, and the residents is having a fit. So if we can't do anything, let's go to the next level. Thank you.
John?
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth.
If I could, the mayor, if we would have had any type of authority, there would have never been a well, but what are they trying to take away from us? I mean, building permits,
Just local authority, they could put it wherever they want to put it, and we wouldn't have
without
jurisdiction.
doing
It would work pretty similar to the hazardous waste well situation, where authority to grant a license for it is in Eagle's hands, and they can
But
determine.
it's always been in
And they
Eagle's
can-
hands years ago, or
Well,
it was called something else then.
We're talking about expanding it to sand and gravel mining, though.
Oh.
That's what this is about.
Right.
And I'm saying that it would be regulated similar to what the regulations are right now through Eagle on having hazardous waste. So they decide, they have an application process, they decide what to grant and what the location would be and what the conditions are without us having any way to veto it.
Okay, but the point, you talked about the gravel and sand, are you referring to like our pit on Wick Road?
Yes,
Where they
yes.
could come in and really tear apart?
If they decided to
the
right now to go
development.
back there and reopen those mining, or those pits, they could do those kind of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good.
Okay,
Yeah, John, I'm done.
all right. If no other discussion, roll call vote. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
That's right across from your house.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion is approved.
Thank you, and that will conclude my report for this evening.
Thank you, Mayor.
Number 6 is the clerk's report. I have 4 action items under my report. 6A, for second reading and final adoption of amendments to Chapter 2, Article 7, Sections 2-409 and 2-410 of the Romulus Code of Ordinances. This ordinance amendment was introduced at the May 1st meeting.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Ms.
I'll make
Abdo.
that motion to approve second reading and final adoption of the amendment to Chapter 2, Article 7, Cemetery Ordinance, Sections 2-409 and 2-410.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for second reading and final adoption of amendments, Chapter 2, Article 7, Section 2-409 and 2-410 of the Romulus Code of Ordinance. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion approved.
Thank you. 6B, for second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 2223-16 in the amount of $500,000 to recognize the MEDC Sidewalk Grant. This budget amendment was introduced at the May 1st regular meeting.
To the chair,
Yes, Ms. Webb?
to make that motion to approve second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 22/23-16.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Webb, supported by Ms. Abdo. Second reading, final adoption of Budget Amendment 22/23-16. Any discussion?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes, through the chair to the mayor, have it been decided of what area the sidewalks will be, this money will be used? And wasn't the original grant, was that $1 million, or this is a different grant?
There was two separate grants, and the two grants came in at roughly $1 million. And one is going to be the Wayne Road Sidewalk Program, which that's currently underway, and they're working on property acquisitions right away right now. And the other one's going to be towards the sidewalk maintenancing program throughout the city to repair heaved panels. And right now, the team's still out assessing the worst ones. I think that they're in the Oak Brook and the Meadow subdivisions right now. They're going to be looking at the best ways to spread those dollars out and take care of those sidewalks in our neighborhoods as well.
Can you make sure that we get like an update of what
Absolutely.
areas they're going in?
Sure.
You know, for this fund? Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any other discussion from council? If not, roll call vote. Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and motion is approved.
Thank you. 6C, for second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 2223-18 in the amount of $75,000, and this is to recognize the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services grant. This budget amendment was introduced at the May 1st regular council meeting.
Need a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion. Excuse me. For the second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 22/23-18. And this is the Human Services Grant.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Webb. Second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 22/23-18. Any discussion?
Yeah, through the chair,
Yes.
quick question.
Ms. Talley?
I didn't ask that the last week when we did this. What's these funds going to be used for? Somebody can tell me?
This is additional training.
For what?
For first responders, right? Chief Capman?
It's to fund ALS training for firefighters, new hires.
Oh, for the new hires?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Talley? Ms. Williams?
Councilwoman Talley asked my question.
Okay. All right. If there's no other comments from council, we're going to do a roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and motion approved.
Thank you. And the last action item, 6D, the study session request. The clerk's office is requesting a 30-minute study session on Monday, June 5th, 2023 at 6:45 p.m. to discuss the nominees for the honorary street sign dedication program. The date and times are available for the request.
Mr. Chairman, I will move that we have a special study session, pardon me, on June the 5th at 6:45. It's in regards to the street sign dedication.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Williams, for a study session request for June 5th at 6:45. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Before I close out my report, I have a couple of just few reminders. I know Ms. Tolliver announced the paper shredding day for next week, actually this coming weekend, May 13th, but also it's the electronics recycling. This is something we started last year, and so people, residents did utilize the service, and we're talking about electronics like old cell phones, computers, DVD players, scanners, typewriters, blenders, coffee maker, just to name a few, lithium batteries. But there are some non-accepted items that I just want to mention, just a few of them, like smoke detectors, freon-containing items, light bulbs, medical equipment, cassettes, floppies, VCR tapes. Those items are not accepted. We have a complete list of all of those items, what's accepted and what's not, on the city's website. And we have some flyers that's out throughout the community and as well as here in City Hall. And those items are also listed. So just want to remind residents of that as well. Our citywide yard sale is coming up beginning Thursday, May 18th through Sunday, May 21st. We do have some rain dates in case it rains that weekend, June 1st through June 4th. Also, as a reminder, traditionally, those who register, their addresses are placed on a list through our newspaper services. We also post them online. So we have a deadline so that we can collect all of those addresses, and that deadline is this Friday, May the 12th by 4:00 p.m. So if you want your address listed, if you plan on participating in the citywide yard sale, we need you to sign up for the yard sale. It takes less than 5 minutes to do so. You can also sign up online as well. That service is available. Lastly, just want to remind residents to save the date for June the 17th. The city will be celebrating its first annual Juneteenth community celebration. So we're really excited. There'll be vendors, food, entertainment, lots of fun. And again, save that date, Saturday, June 17th, from 12 to 4:00 p.m., and the event will be held at the Historical Park. And thank you. That will conclude the clerk's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Takes us to number 7, the treasurer's report.
Thank you. Good evening. I do not have any items under my report this evening, but I do want to acknowledge and wish two individuals a very happy birthday. Today is Roger Cadu's birthday. Happy birthday. And also, Councilwoman Tina Talley had a birthday last Tuesday.
Thank
so
you.
happy birthday to you as well.
Thank
and thank you
you.
for all you do. And that is it.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer. Again, happy birthday, Ms. Talley, and happy birthday, Mr. Cato, my soul brother.
All right, that takes us to number 8, public comment, and this is the portion of the agenda for those who are in the audience. And if you would like to address City Council, the rules to address the City Council can be found on the back of your agenda. If you would like to address the City Council, please raise your hand, and after being acknowledged by the chairperson, approach the podium and state your name. Please note that those members who submitted a public comment card will be called upon first. Further note that you will have 3 minutes to speak. Any additional time will be upon the consent of the chairperson. Mr. Chair, Council, we do have one request, and we have Lisa Denny. Pardon.
Went to a school board meeting, too. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I just have a couple of things that I want to bring out to you. I see that the road improvement projects in your little book here. I've been after this council, I've been after DPW for Beverly Road between Middlebelt and Inkster. That road is really not usable. It's bad now where the truck drivers are now using the center lane to go down the road. And they do go over 35 miles an hour. So the roads there are really horrid, needs to be replaced. It does not need to be patched up. It's been patched up I don't know how many times. Our roads in that subdivision, because of the semis, sometimes can't use Beverly, they will go down our areas. Now our roads in our subdivision haven't been done in 43 years. So those roads are also horrid. And it's, in front of my neighbor's house, there was a pothole about the size of a bicycle, a kid's bicycle. It was that big and that deep. It came out and patched it up, thank you for that, but it's still, the roads in our area are horrid. And I know, and I see that you're doing Wayne Road, which is, yes, it does need it, of course, yes, it does need it. But I'm assuming that also Brannett Street and Dorset, I don't go to those areas, so I don't know how bad their roads are. But I'm letting you know, our roads, our subdivision are horrid, and it's Sunnyside Acres. They need to be looked at and evaluated. Also, we have woods in our area. They came out last year and drained the water. The water is back there and it's backed up again. It is beginning to smell. Last year we had enormous amount of mosquitoes in the area, and the kids couldn't even go out and play because of the standing water. I want to bring that up to them. Also, you mentioned about sidewalks. That's great, but I think the airport area needs the sidewalks more. We got people coming in our area, the sidewalks in that area so they can walk safely to and from the restaurants in that area. I think the sidewalks are mostly needed in that area first before we even think about putting sidewalks in the rest of the community, which this community does need sidewalks for the kids to play safely in. Our area, my street's the only one that has a sidewalk. The rest of them do not. So that's all I have to say right now, and I do want you to look into Beverly Road between Middlebelt and Inkster, please. I've talked to DPW, I don't know how many times, left my name, nobody's called me back. So I'm coming to you now to help us with that area and our roads in that Sunnyside Acres. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, they are also adding, because it is a wooded area down Beverly, there's two new people clearing out the area in there. We don't know what's going in there, but they are making a mess out of it because they are clearing the woods out for a new something. I don't know what DPW authorized in that area, I do not know. But they come in, cleared out the area, stopped, cleaned out the area, stopped, so we don't know what's going on. And with their activity, it's ruining the roads too.
Okay, thank you. Wait a minute, sweetie.
And Mayor, I can confirm, the resident was just speaking how the trucks are riding in the middle lane because of the construction on Ecorse Road and Wayne Road. I took Inkster Road to Beverly Road. And so from Inkster Road all the way to Middlebelt, I'm riding in the middle lane because the other two lanes are I'm in an F-150 and it's shaking. And so, yeah, it's terrible. So it definitely needs to be looked at.
Mr.
Any
Chair,
other-
I'm sorry, that was the only written request.
Okay.
I'm
Through the chair,
sorry.
real quick.
Yes,
I
Ms.
know we were
Ms.
doing the
Talley.
Beverly Road project. I guess it didn't extend that far, huh?
Right, we did receive some grant funding and some federal funding to do some repairs on Grant Road. That stretch wasn't included, and Roberto's trying to reapply, and we know we're not done in that area. We know that it's a failed road, needs a lot of attention.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
it always goes around funding and where the dollar's coming from. So we'll
Got
keep
it.
looking for grants and looking for opportunities to repair, but it does need attention.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you. If there's no other comments, any other comments from the audience? If there's no other comments from the audience, Madam Clerk, we'll close that part out.
Thank you. Number 9 is unfinished business. Number 10 is new business.
Go ahead, Ms. Wood.
Yeah, through the mayor, and I know you're aware of it, but we have a lot of residents that's watching. Something needs to be done pertaining to the detour signs. I'm not for sure who's responsible, whether it's Wayne County, whether it's MDOT or the city of Romulus, but it's really creating a problem, and not just for the Avalon Metal sub, but the whole area. There's not enough detour signs to allow folks to know which way to go. Like you have, it should be a sign at 94 Wayne Road. It should be a sign at Wayne Course and E-Course. That prevents, because I know a lot of residents been calling Julie and everybody else complaining, but if you stop that traffic at Wayne Course and E-Course, the traffic wouldn't come down. They have the roadblock past our subdivision. And, you know, our subdivision are city streets, and so we can't just literally stop them. And then I don't want it to create a problem, because I've seen a lot of this lately where people are being stopped. A few cars have been towed, from what residents told me. So, but if we had the proper detour signs up, that can alleviate a lot of the traffic that's coming through the subdivision. I mean, if you look at it, going around the city, maybe 2 or 3 additional miles versus taking E-course, getting to Wayne Road, or taking Wayne Road to get to E-course, it makes sense. But there's not enough signs, so I don't know who you need to talk to. I've already spoke with Roberto. And even on Wick Road in Coswell, why is there no road closed, no traffic through? It should be, if you don't want trucks to go down there, put a sign up saying no commercial trucks. Now, if they don't read it, then they get a ticket. But stopping the residents from being able to get from one side of the city, and I'm not talking about the other side of the airport, I'm just saying, say, from the north end over to like the high school or over to up here to City Hall. So we just need to really look in a quick fashion to get some correct signs up. You know, that the sign at both our entrances, I think it's unfair to put them at the Avalon Meadows and then not put them at the Preserves, which is right down the street. That's the complaints I'm getting, like, who y'all think y'all special? But if it was enough signs that stop them before they even get to those subdivisions, you would have less traffic and you would have less complaints. Because you're talking about December. That's a long time. But residents have to know that they can't come down that far. If they know it in advance, they won't. You still got 18-wheelers trying to turn up in the subdivision because there's not enough signs to say, you know, road closed, ahead. You know, no commercial vehicles past this point. You know, something. You know, you talking about December, we got to get on it.
Well, and the team was proactive on that. When they closed the intersection down the first time, it is MDOT and a Wayne County project, so we have limited authority, but we saw it was a dangerous situation. We wanted additional signage, so we had them reopen the intersection, reevaluate the plan, resubmit. And I've driven those intersections, and there is adequate signage. I'm watching semis go right around the road closed signs at Wick Road and Wayne, and they go all the way down, and we put signs on Wick Road to limit traffic at Wick and also in your neighborhood, because we saw people, they're gonna be late, they're gonna dip right through there. And worst case scenario is one of our children get hit by a car because somebody's late for an appointment right now. So there's signage everywhere. We'll reevaluate, we'll look at it one more time. I didn't see the preserves being an issue because I don't see it as a detour. Your neighborhood or Avalon neighborhood, they're gonna jump off Wayne Road and circumvent that intersection and go out on E-course. So we put those up there to keep travelers who are gonna be late and they're gonna be impatient and they're gonna be running through neighborhoods and God forbid, a kid's out there playing this summer or even on Wick Road. You know, we have 2 schools down there with no sidewalks. So we put those signs up to limit the traffic that's gonna be unfamiliar with the area. Residents can still pass through. There's already signage out saying no trucks, but we wanna limit that too. So we'll take another look at it, but there's adequate signs everywhere. People just don't read them. They drive around them, they go through yards. It's a terrible indictment on drivers who don't pay attention right now. I sat out there and watched. I think PD was out there and they wrote 45 citations this winter to curb, or this weekend to curb behavior and to protect our residents. And we don't want to write citations. We don't want to have police officers sit out there, but we feel we need to right now because of improper actions taken by motorists traveling through our city. So we'll take another look at it, but there's signs out there everywhere if people look for them and take the time to read them.
There's not enough detour signs is what I'm saying. You got signs out there saying road is closed, but there's no signs on Wayne Road or on E-course saying detour this way to get back to Wayne Road or detour this way. You know, that's what I'm saying.
We'll take another look at it, but I've seen them out there. I followed some of the detour signs to see if it was easier to read and it navigated people through the city. And it is a pain, I understand it. I understand the frustration. We got a lot of construction, but we need to replace these roads, and with it comes construction.
My issue is not them fixing the E-course on Wayne Road. My issue is that the city do their part, even if it's Wayne County and MDOT project. Still, we have a responsibility to make sure that the people know how to get around the construction.
We've done our portions.
I live there. I haven't seen no detour signs at Wayne Road from Wick or either on E-course. And I was asking Roberto, can he move that sign past our driveway off of Wick Road that goes into Avalon Meadows and move it to Wayne Course? It only makes sense. Otherwise, cars are coming down. I mean, it's like you're asking for cars to come down because they're coming down. The road closed sign is...
There's signs at Wayne Course too. There's signs before Wayne Course, as soon as you cross the track saying, this is your detour, go down Wayne Course. You're supposed to use Wayne Course.
I haven't seen that sign.
No, they're up there right by the tracks.
Mayor, that sign that's past our driveway that comes into the Avalon Meadows, and it will alleviate a lot of the calls.
I'll drive it again in the morning and reevaluate.
It will be less traffic coming through the neighborhood. If we say we care about the kids and the safety of the kids out there playing, that sign need to be moved back closer to Wayne Courts and not past the driveway. Now you got less traffic coming through that subdivision.
Okay. Well,
That's all I'm saying.
I'll take it under advisement. We'll reevaluate, and I'll drive it again myself tomorrow morning, and we'll take another look at it.
Thank you, John.
Proceed, Madam Clerk.
So if there's no more new business, it takes us to number 11, warrant. There are 2 warrants on the agenda, 11A and 11B.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion, we pay warrant 23-09 and following amounts. General Fund, $51,029.43. Major Street Fund, $5,380.42. Local Street Fund, $5,393.37. Public Safety Fund, $67,046.19. Cable TV, $1.86. Merriman Road Special Assessment, $433.78. Oakwood SAD, $88.28. Garbage and Rubbish Collection Fund, $347. Michigan Indigent Defense Fund, $17,843.33. 911 Service Fund, $9,278.97. Library Fund, $27,884.04. DDA, $828.44. Tifa District 2, $21,494.82. Water and Sewer Fund, $582,258.99. Motor Vehicle, $36,980.61. Technology Services, $3,393.08. Retiree Insurance Benefits, $103,316.95. Revolving Fund, $7,727.66. Payroll Fund, $105,721.67. Totaling all funds, $1,046,448.89.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Talley, to pay warrant number 23-09 for $1,046,448.89. Any discussion?
Yes. Through the chair.
Yes.
Under check number 81780, vendor 2804. Now, I'm not for sure, and then you have 81873, vendor 4027. Is those the 2 same vendors? Because it's saying Amazon Capital Services. And one of the 81780 is for $178. That's on page 45. 81873 is $389.70. That's on page 48. So is those, because it's charging the same thing, far as signature stamps for council members? It's under the 81780, and then it's also up under the 81873.
I'm sorry, what page are we on?
81780 is on page 45.
All right.
$81,873 is on page 48.
And the first check number again was, I'm sorry,
Pardon me?
the first check number again?
81780. And the amount is $178.90.
Gotcha, yep, I followed.
And then the second one is 81873, and that amount to the same company is $389.70.
Those orders off Amazon, right? Yeah, those are purchases off of Amazon for city services. I can double check to see what they are.
Under both of them, what I'm saying is under both of them, we're charging the city, the signature stamps for council members. It's under both of those check numbers. That's what I'm saying.
So we paid it once. So I'm looking at that. So it looks like we paid it.
It looks like we're double billed, is what it looks like. Sorry.
There's 7 council.
I'm just making sure before we pay it, it can be clear. We don't want to pay the same thing twice.
Sorry. He said it was submitted one time. We'll have to double check with finance and to find out what's going on.
Yeah, because it's on 2 different pages. One is on 45, and the second one is on page 48. And both of them says signature stamps for council members, twice.
Okay. All right, it was submitted one time, so why it's appearing twice, I'm not sure. But we will double check with the finance department, to double check that.
And then also on page 47, check number 881-844, vendor 2088. What? Why are we paying Wayne County, Oakland County for a membership? We have a membership with Oakland County? What is that for? Do anyone know?
I'm not certain.
The information on all that is in the warrant basket.
You know what, I don't always have time to look at the warrant basket, and when a resident call me, I'm asking this question so everybody can get the same answer at the same time. This was presented to us to vote on, somebody should have the answer, because this amount is $9,278.97. It's on page 47. I'm asking, why are we paying Oakland County for a membership? Do we have something going on with Oakland County? And why you guys go through that? 81-852, vendor 4199, retail strategy, professional service, retail development. What's that?
That's through TIFA and DDA, retail
That's TIFA,
strategies. That's
okay.
what brought the upscale warehouse to the, under the radar. Those are networking.
Oh, that's that.
Retail strategies. We had the Lambert firm that was working on PR before, but we brought in retail strategies to help us market the city and do evaluation. So it's working on economic development and it's paid for through TIFA and DDA.
I mean, sometime in the warrant, some things just need to be a little bit more detailed so it's not, don't look so strange. Then this last one is Vex Bank.
Well, I understand, but all that detail's in the warrant basket.
I understand that, but if I don't have time to look in the basket, I'm gonna ask it here. I have that right to. So Vex Bank, 81-870, cost for April fuel. Who is using $18,814 a month? That should be broke down. What department? Who's using it? Like, fire, I know they have to use it, I know the police have to use it, but this should be broke down. It shouldn't just be like one big dollar amount for fuel. Who's using it? Who has a gas card? What department and where they going?
Well, again, all that information is supplied in the warrant basket. That's fleet fuel.
No. I don't want to even deal with the basket. This should be broke down in the warrant, I'm saying.
Well, then you can call the administration as well, and we'll supply the information. I mean, it's council's, it's your right to vote on the warrant or not vote on the warrant. You can abstain.
Mayor, that's not the issue. That is not the issue at all. I'm asking you a question. If you, the mayor, put this in front of council, the warrant, asking us to vote on it, you should have some kind of idea of what we're voting on.
And it's supplied to you in the warrant basket in full detail.
But I'm
I can't
asking
tell
you-
you what every department is spending on this municipality. All the money
This-
that's
this is
here
a
is
large amount,
approved
Mayor.
for. It's approved to be in the city budget. All this is budgeted for. If this was on you before you, it was already approved in the budget. The detail on each individual dollar amount you're asking about is supplied for you in transparent form from the administration in the warrant basket.
I'm not, like I told you before, and I'm gonna say it again. I don't have to look in that warrant basket. You're the mayor. If I'm asking you, and I said this to the finance director before, some of these things should just be broke down. That's all I'm saying. Because you can't just say, 18,000, and I understand it's in the basket, I understand y'all keep talking about that basket. I'm saying in the warrant, just like this department, it was this much. I'm just saying to be clear, I'm not the only one looking at this, residents are looking at it, and I can't answer them. And so I'm not gonna go behind closed doors and ask you something, then I gotta go back and tell all of, no, just
Nothing
kind of
needs to
make
be
it
behind closed,
detailed.
nothing needs to be behind closed doors. We operate in a transparent fashion. It's all there. All the information is there. You can take part of that warrant and show it to the residents if you'd
We
like.
can
It's
see
all
it.
been supplied to you.
We can see it, the residents can't. This is what I'm
It's
saying.
supplied to you. We gave you the information. Nobody's doing anything underhanded or less than transparent.
As I said, in the warrant, it should be, when it's dollar amounts like this, that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to be argumental. Just in the warrant, you can just simply do a line item and say, this amount is for this department used this amount. I've never really paid it attention. It was a resident that brought it to my attention.
Then it's a valid question. You should ask these questions, but that's why we supply the information. I mean, we are giving you the information, and we can
Like
get
I
you
said,
additional
I'm
detail on this.
asking for it to be broke down when it's this kind of amount. Situations happen all the time. Yeah.
Yes, through the chair.
I understand, but they asked to tell you right now how much that was fired, and how much that was.
Right, but I'm saying moving forward.
It is all supplied for you, and we're happy to answer these questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay,
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair.
yes,
I'm sorry if I can.
Madam Clerk.
Just to address Councilwoman Williams' concern on this warrant, what we did notice that it has two different vendor numbers for that, so it could be a clerical error, I'm not sure, but it was only submitted one time, but we will find out, because that's what we noticed the difference is that there are two different vendor numbers.
Well, I gave two different vendor numbers.
I understand. What I'm saying is that we will find out why it's listed here twice. It could just be an error or something, but I know that it was only submitted one time. But we'll talk to finance about that. Just want to bring that to your attention. Okay.
Okay, if there any other discussion? If there's no other discussion, we're going to have roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb? Ms. Williams?
No.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Mr. Chair, I have approval for warrant 23-09E this is from the election, and the amount is, am I right, Ellen? This is from the election?
Correct.
Yes, I just want to make sure. $1,835.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, to pay warrant number 23-09E for $1,835. Any discussion on that? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, that motion is approved.
Thank you. Number 12 is communication.
Yeah, through the chair.
Is Ms.
I'm
Talley?
going to take my time with this one, okay?
Okay.
Just a couple of things. I just want to piggyback off the mayor and the town hall event that was at Wayne County Community College on Haggerty last week. It was such an outpouring. They had, Eagle was there, EPA was there, Norfolk Southern had representation there, and they were on the hot seat. The mayor made great comments at the town hall. I want to thank him for his comments. And also, who also did a great showing that evening was Deputy Chief Shelby. He made some great comments, and he was the last person who spoke, and his comments were very piercing at the very end and really brought things home. There were a lot of communities out there that have gone through similar type things that were very vocal out there at the meeting as well, talking about their experiences that they had with Eagle and the EPA. So it was good to see all these communities come forward in support. Our former Congresswoman Rashida was there, very vocal and such a champion, and really had Eagle and EPA on the hot seat. Debbie Dingell was there, Congresswoman Debbie Dingell was there, Sri Tanadar, Congressman Sri Tanadar was there, our Commissioner Al Haydes, Senator Kamilleri was there, Rep. Wagala and Rep. Miller were all there in support of this issue, and it was only supposed to last about an hour. This meeting lasted several hours. I don't think I walked out till 10 p.m. and it started. I got there at 6:30, so it was a very, very heated discussion. Not heated, but it was very lively. They were on the hot seat, and the hot seat was hot. So just wanted to put that out to the residents. This is not a dead issue. This thing is taking great momentum, and it has great, great support. The mayor has gotten a lot of support from these Congress people regarding this issue and our representative and our legislators. So just wanted people to know it was a very, very lively meeting. Lasted several hours because it just blew me away that the people from other communities came forward at this meeting to speak about their issues. I mean, they had them on the hot seat. So I just want to thank Congresswoman Debbie Dingell for putting that together. I think she put it together along with Congresswoman Rashida and Sri. I think they all worked together to put that together. So I just want to say thank you. The second thing I want to talk about is our Court Community Day they had on Friday. It was a great event. They had it last year. This year was their second, but last year it was a good event, but it rained, so the weather was so much better this year. And they had a good turnout last year, even with the bad weather, but even with the good weather this year, they had a really good event. They had over close to 300 kids, fourth graders from different elementary schools that was in attendance. Two of our elementary schools that were there was Wick and Hell Creek, and then two other elementary schools from outside community schools. So really good event. Kudos to the judges for putting this on, and for Avery Taylor, who coordinated the whole event. So thank you for that. The third thing I want to talk about, we have our Hometown Heroes coming up next Thursday, May 18th, and we're going to be giving celebration to Shyla Brim, who is an outstanding educator who's from Barth Elementary. It'll be May 18th, beginning at 6:30. So I just want to congratulate Shyla Brim for being the hometown hero, outstanding educator. Next, I want to talk about National Day of Prayer, amazing event. The Ministerial Alliance hit all the schools in the district and the board office with prayer that morning. The schools were so happy to have the Ministerial Alliance up there praying with them, and we did end at the flagpole, and it was great because some of the kids we saw that morning at National Day of Prayer was some of the kids we saw at the Court Community Day, and they remembered us being out at their school, so that was a great event. So I want to just kudos to the Ministerial Alliance for banding together for National Day of Prayer, and we ended at the flagpole right here at the City Hall. And then lastly, I just want to do a shout out to Romulus Flowers and Gifts. They're the one that created the basket that was presented to Wendy Harmon for the Why I Love the City of Romulus contest. They are located at 7563 Merriman Road, Romulus, Michigan, and their number is 734-722-6440. Mother's Day is this Monday. If you need a gift for mothers, you want to check them out. They're located again on Merriman Road, and it's Romulus Flowers and Gifts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Ms.
I
Abdo.
just want to correct Ms. Talley. Barth Bears were there, too.
Was Barth there?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought it was, but I wasn't for sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John.
Ms.
And just
Williams.
to remind the residents, Forgotten Harvest tomorrow morning. Get in line, we'll serve you up. Thank you.
Is there any more communication?
I'm sorry, one more quick thing.
Yes, go ahead.
At the First Baptist celebration of their 96th anniversary, I just want to shout out for the treasurer for coming out and our city clerk for coming out supporting the church. Thank you.
Number 13 is adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Talley for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth? Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair